welcome back. I'm going to jump right in today with a question that was asked on my Facebook page. There's a link in the description if we aren't already hanging out there. Let's get on that. Today's question is, when reacting to your hypnotist suggestion, how aware are you that your action is the result of the hypnotist's suggestion? You mentioned giving your name as Peter Rabbit because you couldn't think of anything else, but were you aware of why? Is it different for different people? Is it different depending on the specific suggestion? Oh, this is such a good question. And yes, it is different depending on the hypnotist, the language they use, how the subject interprets the question, and more. I think so many people believe they weren't hypnotized if they were aware of the hypnotist providing the suggestion, or they can remember the suggestion or even the entire hypnosis. And that is absolutely not the case. I think stage hypnosis has a lot to answer for here. If you want to understand hypnosis and hypnotherapy, one of the first things you need to wrap your head around is that stage hypnosis, hypnosis tricks, street hypnosis, whatever you want to call it, has very little in common with hypnotherapy. Hypnotists have a lot more in common with magicians and illusionists than they have in common with hypnotherapists. Bear with me for a second while I tell you a little story. I've been crazy fortunate to be picked to be part of 2 shows in Las Vegas. The first time I got to be on stage with Criss Angel. Don't judge me, but I was so freaking happy because I do love Criss Angel. You have no idea. And the second time, David Copperfield made me disappear on stage at the MGM Grand. Now, I know for a fact that the people David makes disappear from the stage and suddenly reappear at the back of the theatre are chosen randomly because I was one of them. Does David have some kind of crazy supernatural power that allows him to make my physical body vanish into thin air and then reappear? No. Obviously, it's a technique that he has absolutely mastered, and no, I won't be telling you how he does it. But that doesn't change the fact that for an entire audience of people in the MGM Grand that night and every other night, he makes people vanish and reappear. The how is irrelevant. It still happened. So when people say, oh, but I only forgot my name because you told me to, it's like, yeah, I know, but you still did it. So if I'm doing one-on-one sessions with you to stop smoking, and you were smoking a pack a day before the sessions and you're not now, the how and why and what if I'm only doing it because you told me to is irrelevant. The goal was to get you to stop smoking, and now you've stopped. In terms of how aware I've been when receiving suggestions, I've seen the full range, but personally, I've always been aware that my actions were the result of the hypnotist suggestion. In the Peter Rabbit scenario, I obviously trusted Roger, the hypnotist, a lot, and therefore was happy to accept whatever suggestions he gave me. I knew it was because of him, and saying Peter Rabbit didn't feel right or natural, but I couldn't think of any other answer in that moment. I've also had a very popular hypnotist try something similar with me, but I really don't like him as a person, and therefore there was no way I was going to forget anything he told me, and I didn't. Yet I've seen him do the same routine with success on other people. A lot of it comes down to the individual, the hypnotist, the trust, the willingness to participate. I've definitely received anecdotal reports from clients that suggest they weren't aware of suggestions, and that's getting into a whole other Q&A. But for the most part, yes, I'm aware I'm being hypnotized. You should be aware because, as I said many times before, you are not comatose. You're just in a really cool in-between state where you're experiencing intense focus and deep relaxation at the same time. As always, feel free to put your hypnosis questions in the comments and I'll answer them. Seeing as though we've been talking Vegas and shows today, today's question of the day is, who is your favorite illusionist, or what is your favorite magic show or trick you have ever seen? You already know this, but your comments are my oxygen, so please allow me to keep breathing. I would appreciate it so very much. And keep in mind that every time you give me a thumbs up, an angel gets its wings. Mwah. One last thing. If you love podcasts as much as I do and they keep you company while you're doing the dishes and cleaning the house and going for a run or going to the gym or whatever, then please go and download Hot and Delicious Rocks the Planet. I was a guest on that show recently. It is one of my favorite podcasts. I was super honored to be on there. Dan is a really, really awesome host and it was a lot of fun. We talked YouTube, hypnosis, social media, being self-employed, all kinds of stuff. And I would love it if you would go and download the show and then come back here and let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode. that would be amazing. See you in the next video. Funny story about being in Las Vegas at Criss Angel's show. I first went to Vegas in 2007. It was October. I was living in Canada by myself, traveling alone, and I really wanted to be in Vegas for Halloween. And so I booked my tickets to go to the opening of Criss's show, Believe, and to go and do a whole bunch of Halloween stuff that was super fun. And so I'm getting ready to go to the show. I turn up at Criss Angel's show in the most ridiculous outfit. It was a teeny tiny miniature black tutu, so small, and a very small top and very big heels, big hair, dark eyes. It was very, very Vegas. And I'm at the show by myself, and it was a front row ticket, so I'm sitting front row and just waiting for the show, and these people come up to me and they're like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Would you like to be part of Criss Angel's show and meet Criss?" And I was like, yes I would. So it was really fun, got to be part of the show, got to meet Criss, got a kiss and a present and all this kind of stuff. And as we're leaving, all these people are going, "There's no way that's real, she has to have been a plant," and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, this is super fun. Like, I'm really excited right now. I was trying to ring my mum in Australia and go, "Oh my God, this is so cool, I was in the show." And this lady just goes, "There's no way you can expect me to believe that," as if anybody would wear that. Pointing to my tutu and my outfit. I was like, I did. Incidentally, I also don't have any selfies or photos or anything with Criss because they don't allow you to take cameras or phones or anything into the show, which is totally understandable. But if anyone does happen to know Criss Angel and can hook me up, just saying, I wouldn't say no.